I stood there and just listened to older men talk about my bike, and everyone reminisced about the 70s and the 80s and how yellow bikes were cool then. Somebody told me that actually there was a panhead called the Bad Banana. It was a yellow bike. So cool. My name is Morgan Wallack. I do silver gelatin printmaking, so I shoot medium to large format. What that means is instead of digital, it's analog. When I moved back from Australia, the first thing I did was buy a motorcycle, but not any motorcycle. I bought a Harley-Davidson, and that was just a dream come true. The second I could ride off on that motorcycle, my entire life changed. So being on my motorcycle is the only time I am free of not only everything around me, because now I am, exposed to the elements and I'm free. I'm like a bird on wheels. If motorcycle is what you have that keeps you breathing and sane, then you're a biker. And it's really changed my life off the road and on the road. The year of the bike, it's a 1983 Ironhead Sportster. I've always wanted an Ironhead. I wanted an Ironhead that had nothing done to it, possibly even searching for the most hideous one. So the one I found had copious amounts done to it, but in the opposite direction, making it almost a bigger challenge because the previous owner decided to turn it into a bagger. So it had a big Mustang tank and Mustang seat, like the ones that had, the tassels, and it was ridiculous. Oh, it also had lights underneath the tank that ran along the frame. Yeah, so I just spent the first half of the pandemic ripping it apart. So I tore the bike down, had lots of help building it back up. Nothing that you see on the motorcycle right now besides the engine is what was originally there. Everything was removed, and without really any direction, I just started ordering parts. From TC Bros, the hardtail kit. From word of mouth, I heard about Spud Co., which is Stuart McAndrew out in Alexandria. The pipes, completely my design. I've never seen anything like that. I wanted to do something that was different. I ran my idea by a few people who I really look up to, like C.T. Newman and Mike from Chop and Weld, and they all said no and gave me other ideas, which just fueled my fire to keep doing it. Yeah, so I had Nick, I'm gonna have to get back to you with his last name. I showed him my design and I brought the bike to him after it was hardtailed and partly put together, and he asked me if I wanted the pipes to be custom, and then showed me some pre-bent tubing, or he said custom really loud and excited because he is a welder by trade. And I said, okay, we'll do that one because you're really excited about it and I want you to enjoy this as much as I am right now. The whole bike, I mean, especially if the pie cuts, which you're not going to see on choppers, and I have had people either say, oh, that's so cool, that's different, or why are there pie cuts on your chopper? That is not cool. The amount of people that said pie cuts don't belong on choppers, I mean, if I had $5 from every person that said that, it would have paid for the bike. I like that it is so, everything is just people's hands. People, literally, there was no bending of machinery. That was literally Nick sitting there for God only knows how many hours. I refuse to ask him because I'll just feel bad. He did some slices and then he was welding them. So the bike just started forming into a piece of art. It was pretty cool. There's a lot of hands on it. I tried my best to not let people do things from A to Z for me, in the part that they had. So that actually ended up biting me in the butt because this thing called mock-ups, which you should do after a lot of components. But I just really wanted to get my hands dirty, and I don't weld. So I would get the bike back in parts and put it all back together again. The artist who did the gas tank, her name is Pascale, and she's extremely well known in the sign writing community as well as the art community in Ottawa and abroad. She went on tour with Tim Burton and did all his lettering. Like, she's bad ass. I threatened her before that I was going to get her to do a gas tank. She's never done a tank before, and apparently she's turned down many a people, but I guess she just likes me. Spending a day doing horrific drawings. And here we have the infamous Harley-Davidson. I drew it out. And again, I couldn't really decide on the color schemes. But I knew that Harley-Davidson was going to be in the same yellow as the seat. So I passed this on to Pascale, and oh, actually the lines are to imitate the old AMF. So that's where I got that idea, because again, that has been done, and it's not really my style to do anything that's constricted and straight lined. So having an artist, you know, not use tape, not taping anything off, and just freehanding that is definitely more my style. Pascale wasn't sure about, you know, the line work, and I was a little bit fearful of what potential colors could be thrown in. I'm really funny about colors. So I was like, I don't know, maybe do a brown, kind of just shooting, you know. And then she did, and she nailed it. I was so excited when I picked it up. I kept telling her, don't show me, don't show me. The only thing she showed me was the banana that she did on it, and that really caught me off guard. I was like, oh, there's a banana on the tank.
Organic banana.
But it was perfect. It's the funniest thing, having that little bad banana. Morgan, it's a unisex name, but at Roll the Bones, I guess because it was motorcycles, everyone affiliated it with a man's name. And I stood there and just listened to older men talk about my bike, and everyone reminisced about the 70s and the 80s and how yellow bikes were cool then. Somebody told me that actually there was a panhead called the Bad Banana. It was a yellow bike. So cool. I guess I'm from a different time. I think a lot of, and this is something that's really important to remember. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to admit that you have had help. Who cares in the end? Do your best, do your research, surround yourself with the right people, ask for help, and then build another bike. Ask for less help. Build another bike, ask for no help. A friend of mine was selling a shovel head engine, and I couldn't get it out of my head. It was very shiny, and I trust the person who I was going to buy it from, so I went. So, you know, with all of my new fundamental learning from this bike, the shovel head, I've got more ideas down than I did for this one. I wrote down all my do's and don'ts and other steps that I should have taken, like mock-ups. They'll tell you to do mock-ups. They don't tell you how many, but you need to do a lot of mock-ups or things don't work out. Especially if you have multiple people doing different welding components. Every time you get the bike back, you should do a mock-up. I didn't do that once. Okay, I did it once, but that's it. It needed to be done way more. That's okay. I will pre-plan parts and not just keep ordering them or having them built on the fly. And I'm definitely going to, well, I keep wavering between if I'm going to make it into that classic dandelion style 70s bike or if I'm just going to pull a Morgan and make it a little wild, which is definitely what's going to happen.